Spectre. Now, Spectre was released in 2015 and is set by Sam Mendes and stars Daniel Craig in his fourth outing as iconic character James Bond. The film also stars Léa Seydoux, Naomie Harris, Wishaw, Fiennes, and Christoph Waltz. And basically, the film follows James Bond, once again played by Daniel Craig in the film, as he goes on a mission after being sent a cryptic message about his past, which leads him to go and find this hidden evil organisation known as Spectre, and also to find out who's behind it. And at the same time, we also get this other story in the film, which takes place in London. And basically, this other story in the film revolves around the character called C, who's played by Andrew Scott in the film, who basically is the head of national security in London, and he wants to take down the 00 program. And as you can imagine, these two stories come together in quite an interesting way later on in the film. And that's basically the plot of Spectre. And honestly, I've got to admit here, I really like this film. I really like Spectre because, in the end, it feels like a Bond film. It felt more like a Bond film than some of the Bond films I've seen previously. I mean, I reviewed all of them. Obviously, leading up to No Time to Die, which is coming out very soon, by the way. Very excited for that now, actually, because I've been watching all the Bond films. But yeah, I've been reviewing all the Bond films leading up to No Time to Die, so I've kind of got to feel what they're like. And actually, in the end, Spectre felt more like a Bond film than some of the other Bond films I've previously seen, which we'll be mentioning a bit later in this review, by the way. But yeah, it felt more like a Bond film than some of the other Bond films I've seen, and in a good way. Some of the other Bond films I've seen in the past, like, I don't know, Moonraker, for example, feels like it's trying to be something else and not necessarily in a good way. However, Spectre doesn't. Spectre just feels like it wants to be a Bond film, and in the best way possible. Honestly, that's why I like Spectre so much. It feels like a Bond film left, right, and centre. However, that doesn't mean it doesn't have its problems. Like all the Bond films reviewed, yes, this Bond film also has its problems. Only and pacing-wise, this film is all over the place. There's some parts in the film you might get like a quite atmospheric, gradual build-up scene, which is great, by the way, but then it might jump into the big, exciting action scene, but then about 5 minutes later, it might get like this steamy scene involving, Daniel Craig's Bond and Léa Seydoux' Bond girl, and it's just like, whoa, pacing-wise, it's a bit all over the place, and tone-wise, it's a bit all over the place. Honestly, one of my favourite scenes of the film, actually, is the introduction to Christoph Waltz's Blofeld. I love the way that character's introduced in the film. I absolutely love it, but it's a gradual build-up scene, and then the next scene in the film is this big car chase that's going on, and it's just like, whoa, we're just, pacing-wise, we're just jumping all over the place there, and then about 5 minutes later, there's a love scene between Léa Seydoux' Bond girl and Daniel Craig's Bond on the train, and something like that, and it's just like, okay, we're just jumping here, tone-wise and pacing-wise, a bit all over the place, don't you think? And at the same time, though, I'm not the biggest fan of the Bond song for the film. I'm not the biggest fan of Writing on the Wall by Sam Smith, and whether that's because I'm not really a Sam Smith fan, I don't know. But honestly, I don't hate the Bond song for the film. I don't think it's as bad as Dying of a Day by Madonna or the Quantum of Solace Bond song, but nevertheless, I don't think it's up there with some of the other best Bond songs, like Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney, Goldfinger by Shirley Bassey, or even the Casino Royale Bond song by Radiohead. I don't think it's quite up there with some of the other Bond songs, because in the end, it just didn't really make me go, wow. I wasn't listening to the opening Bond song in the film going, oh my god, this is working so well. Like even Skyfall by Adele, the opening Skyfall, that does make me go, wow now. Even so I'm not the biggest fan of the song, the way it's used in that film works so well. But honestly, the opening scene in the film is great. I love the opening scene in the film, but then it just goes into Writing on the Wall by Sam Smith. You're just like, does that work? I don't really think it does, because, Bond's going to win his helicopter, got a bit of a smile on his face, and then it goes into Writing on the Wall, and you just be like, really? Is that really the best, Bond song we could have chosen for this film? So I'm just not really a big fan of the Bond song. And at the same time, though, I do think the last half an hour of the film, and I do think the whole Spectre stuff out of that, actually, is a bit anticlimactic. Like, there's an hour and a half of the film, which I really like, which is the whole build-up to find out about this organisation known as Spectre in the film. And obviously, if you're a Bond fan, you know what Spectre is from, like, Doctor No and whatnot. So, there's this whole fantastic build-up to Spectre, in my opinion, but then when you find out what it is, it's a bit anticlimactic. Like the scene between Christoph Waltz's Blofeld and Daniel Craig's Bond, I mean, they're both great in the film. Daniel Craig and Christoph Waltz are both great in this film, but it just all feels a bit anticlimactic when they're together. It doesn't really feel that climactic. It doesn't really feel like having this big climax when you're having those two characters together, and you should. Blofeld is such a big Bond character. He probably is the most famous Bond villain. He's probably up there with Dr. No. Dr. No is another famous Bond villain, because of the first Bond film, but nevertheless, Blofeld is one of the most famous Bond villains. He's been in Only Twice, he's been on Majesty's Secret Service, he's been in Down Forever, and he's even in a little bit of Four Eyes Only as well. But in this film, he's there, and he works really well in the film. I really love Christoph Waltz's performance, which I will be going to a bit later in the review, but I've just got to admit, the scenes between, you know, Daniel Craig's Bond and Christoph Waltz's Blofeld just don't really feel that exciting, in my opinion. It just feels a bit anticlimactic, and I don't know. I just want a bit more from that. I mean, maybe we'll get a bit more of that in No Time to Die, because I know Christoph Waltz's Blofeld is returning in the new Bond film, No Time to Die, which I'm very excited about. But the thing is, though, I don't know. I just wanted a bit more from that in this film, just those two characters going off each other. I just want a bit more than that. And at the same time, like I said before, I do think the last half an hour is slightly anticlimactic. I do think the last, you know, the big action set piece in the last half an hour is a bit anticlimactic. And, you know, the thing is, though, I did prefer over the last half an hour Skyfall, though, saying that. Like, one of my big issues with Skyfall as a whole is that when you get to the last half an hour and you know, the whole big final action set piece in that film takes place at Bond's childhood home, Bond's childhood home doesn't look real, in my opinion, in that film. You mean, it may well be real, but it doesn't look real when you get to that part of the film. So I'm sitting there just thinking to myself, you know, I'd enjoy this so much more if I believed in the house where this was all taking place, but I just don't. And that's kind of one of the reasons that, you know, the final half an hour of Skyfall doesn't really work for me. And I know it's just a little thing, but it is one of the most important things. Like, if the setting of the final half of the film doesn't really work for you, or the final half an hour of the film doesn't really work for you, then everything else around just starts to crumble down. But the same didn't happen in Spectre. In fact, I just believe what was going on in Spectre. I believe the last half an hour. I just wish it was more exciting, because in the end it just turns into a car chase, or a boat chase, or a helicopter chase, and then you just have, you know, Blofeld going off in the helicopter, and you think it's about to get away, but you know it's not, because it's a Bond film, so you know Bond's going to win in the end, and it's really not that exciting, in my opinion. I just didn't really find the last half an hour of the film that exciting. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was, you know, massively anticlimactic like I have felt in some of the previous Bond films. Like, I remember watching The World Is Not Enough and just watching the big final fight between Bond and the big bad Bond film in that film, and just feeling, oh my god, this is so anticlimactic. But I didn't feel that in this film. I didn't feel that in Spectre, and that was really good. But at the same time, though, I wanted to feel like it was a bit bigger and a bit more exciting, and I just didn't in the end. I still thought the last half an hour was good. I just didn't think it was great, I've got to admit. And at the same time, though, there are some clear reshoots in this film as well. There's some clear moments where I could clearly tell like a green screen was behind Daniel Craig's Bond, and not in a good way, I'm gonna admit. Just, that really didn't work for me. Now, also at the same time, though, there's some clear uses of overdubbing with Daniel Craig as Bond as well, which weren't always the best for me. But saying that, though, like I said before, I like Spectre quite a lot. I think it's a really good Bond film, and honestly, I didn't understand the criticism it got when it came out. I still don't understand the criticism the film gets. I really like Spectre. I think it's a really good Bond film in the end. I mean, I don't think it's a particularly fantastic film, actually, but I think it's a really good Bond film. It's a really exciting, a really fun Bond film to watch. That's what made it fun for me to watch. You know, I was actually having a really bad day. I wasn't feeling that great when I sat down to watch Spectre, but then the film actually just took my mind off the day I was having, and that's, in the end, what a film needs to do. So it's a sense of escapism and everything, and that's what Spectre was, in my opinion. It was its own beast, and in a really good way. I really enjoyed myself with the film. Like, honestly, just the opening scene alone, I was loving it. I love the opening scene of the film, which takes place in New Mexico. You have the whole parade stuff going on. I love that in the film. I love the way Sam Mendes directs that scene in the film. Honestly, it's absolutely fantastic. Like, literally have the one long take, you know, which is like Sam Mendes practicing with one long take for 9:17. But you have the one long take at the start of the film. I love the opening scene. I really do. And I also love the fact, by the way, that they recreated that whole parade thing in Mexico. I don't know what it's called. It has got a name. But they recreated that whole parade at the start of the film in New Mexico just for this film. I love that about it, and I love the opening scene. I love the way Sam Mendes staged all of that. It's really exciting, in my opinion, and also immerses you in the world of Spectre, which is something I really like for the film. It sets the tone for the film in the best way, in my opinion. And at the same time, though, I also really like the performance in the film. Like, Daniel Craig is great as Bond once again, and I did actually hear some criticism about Daniel Craig in this film, that some people actually felt that he was, you know, bored with the Bond role in this film. I never thought that when I was watching it. In fact, I thought I was having quite a lot of fun with the Bond role in this film. I really did. Like, there were a couple of moments of comic relief in there, which worked really well with his character, but at the same time, though, he's gritty when he needs to be in this film. I never felt watching the film that he was bored with the Bond character. In fact, I thought he was having a lot of fun with the Bond character. And at the same time, though, I also thought Léa Seydoux as a Bond girl in the film was really good. She worked well in the context of the film. Now, I think if she was in another Bond film, like, say, I don't know, Casino Royale, maybe she wouldn't work as well, but because she's in this film, actually, she works quite well in the context of the film, in my opinion. I really enjoyed Léa Seydoux' performance. She's by no means one of the best Bond girls. Like, I don't think she's as good as Diana Rigg in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but nevertheless, I do think she's really good in this film, and she works well in the context of the film. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing her role in No Time to Die as well, because we know she's returning for No Time to Die, which I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing how that character is used in the next Bond film. And at the same time though, another thing I really liked about the film was the fact that the whole Double O unit was used a lot more. Like, I know they used quite a bit in Skyfall. Like, I know Naomie Harris had that quite big role as Moneypenny in Skyfall, but in this film alone, it feels like Ray Fiennes as the new M has a much more bigger role. It feels like Naomie Harris has a much more big role as Moneypenny as well. And same with Ben Whishaw as Q. I loved watching Ben Whishaw as Q in this film. I loved Ben Whishaw so much more in this film than I did in Skyfall. And it just feel like Ben Whishaw really captures that modern day take on the Q character. And I really enjoyed him having a bigger role in this film. At the same time though, I also really liked Andrew Scott in there as C. Now, I actually know Andrew Scott as Moriarty from the Sherlock series. I really like him in that, by the way. I really like him as Moriarty in the BBC Sherlock series. And the thing is, though, that kind of made me like that character more in this film as well. I really liked watching Andrew Scott, C, this person trying to take down the Double O unit in this film. I really enjoyed watching his character. At the same time, though, I also really enjoyed watching Christoph Waltz as the new Blofeld in this film quite a lot. Honestly, I thought Christoph Waltz was really good in this film. And actually, he's my favourite version of Blofeld today. Now, that's not to diss the actor who played Blofeld, You Only Live Twice, On the Majesty's Secret Service, Dancing Forever, and For Your Eyes Only for that little bit as well. That's not to diss those actors. But honestly, for me personally, I just felt Christoph Waltz as Blofeld was so good in the film. Like, by no means is he one of the best Bond villains. I don't think he is as good as Mads Mikkelsen from, Casino Royale. But nevertheless, I do think he's really good in the film. And I really enjoyed watching Christoph Waltz as Blofeld. He's my favourite version of Blofeld in the Bond franchise over to this point. Because I do think we'll get another incarnation of Blofeld in the near distant future. In another Bond film, like, 10 years' time. But nevertheless, I did really enjoy watching Christoph Waltz. And I can't wait to see how they're going to use him in No Time to Die. And I do think he's going to have a big role in No Time to Die. Because otherwise, why would he be in that film? And honestly, I really enjoyed Christoph Waltz as Blofeld in this film quite a lot. I really did. And at the same time though, I also love Dave Bautista, the Bond henchman in this film. Like, he's not as good as Jaws, in Spy Love Me and Moonraker. I don't think any Bond henchman is as good as Jaws. I think Jaws in Moonraker and The Spy Love Me is so good. I love Jaws in those films. Even Moonraker, which I think is a pretty bad film. I love the scenes of Jaws in that film though. But nevertheless, even so I don't think Dave Bautista's Bond henchman is quite as good as Jaws, I still love watching the film. I love the fact that Dave Bautista, who I only really know from Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, I love the fact that Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy was the Bond henchman in this film. Honestly, I thought he was so good as a Bond henchman, and I really enjoyed watching the film. And at the same time though, we're going off performances now, and going on to the musical score of the film. I think Thomas Newman's musical score for the film is actually better than his musical score for Skyfall. And I liked his score for Skyfall, but I do think his score for Spectre is a bit better in my opinion. Honestly, I really enjoyed his music, and just his music got me immersed in the film, just like that in the opening scene. Honestly, I love his score for the film. I think Thomas Newman did a great job with the score for the film. I think he did an absolutely fantastic job. At the same time though, I just really enjoyed watching this film as a whole. I thought it was really well made and just really fun to watch. I love how this film plays homage to some of those other previous Bond films that have come before. Some of the other previous Bond films, like the Sean Connery period and the Roger Moore period. Like, there's one in particular with like a car and a plane chase, which reminded me of from Wishaw of Love. Like, from what I can remember, there's a car and plane chase in that film as well, which I liked quite a lot. Or I just love the fact that, it takes place in the snowy islands at one stage. You have like that big snow chase, which reminded me of, On the Majesty's Secret Service and many other Bond films as well. Honestly, the amount of Bond films which have ski chase in them is ridiculous. But nevertheless, this film reminded me of those ski chases in all the previous Bond films, in particular On the Majesty's Secret Service, which is still my favourite Bond film. It reminded me of all those ski chases before, and in such a good way in my opinion. Or the fact that they just have that fight scene which takes place in the train at one stage, which is like reminding me of such films, from Wishaw of Love, Spy Love Me, and so on and so on and so on. Honestly, this film plays homage to so many of the other Bond films that came before, and in such a good way in my opinion. Honestly, there's even little moments where it plays homage to License to Kill, a film I don't particularly like that much, but nevertheless, I just love the fact that it plays homage to that film. I love the fact that Spectre plays homage to the Bond films before. It doesn't ignore them like many other Bond films have done before. No, instead, it says, you know what, this film wouldn't exist without all the 20-odd Bond films that came before. And that's another reason that this film felt like a Bond film, because it plays homage to the previous Bond films, so in itself, it feels like a Bond film, which is one of the reasons I think Spectre is great, which is another reason I think Spectre is great. Honestly, I just really enjoy Spectre in the end. By no means is it one of the best Bond films, but you know what? It was a lot of fun to watch. Like I said before, it feels like a Bond film. It felt more like a Bond film than Diamonds Forever. It felt more like a Bond film than A View to a Kill. It felt more more like a Bond film than Moonraker. It felt more like a Bond film than License to Kill. It felt more like a Bond film than Die Another Day and The World Is Not Enough. It felt more like a Bond film than Quantum of Solace. It felt like a proper Bond film, which is why I liked Spectre so much. Honestly, I think it's great, and I think people who don't like Spectre are simply wrong. I just think you're wrong. I mean, all films are rejected, whatnot, but still, I just think you're wrong. Because I think Spectre's great. I just think it's great. Even so, it is a bit anticlimactic in the end. I still think it's good. And I love the fact that No Time to Die is going to be a sequel to Spectre. Like I've mentioned No Time to Die quite a lot in the review, because I'm excited to see how No Time to Die is going to be a sequel to Spectre. We know characters returning, like Léa Seydoux Bond Girl and Christoph Waltz Blofeld, so I'm excited to see how they're going to be used in No Time to Die. I love the fact that No Time to Die in the end is going to be a full-on sequel to Spectre, which is something which is going to be really excited about seeing No Time to Die now, because I'm a fan of Spectre overall. I'm a fan of Spectre. I like it quite a lot. By no means one of the best Bond films, but you know what? I found it really enjoyable, and I thought it was a fantastic Bond film, left, right, and centre. And you know what? I'm even going to say this. I personally think that Spectre is better than Skyfall. That might be a bit sacrilegious to some people, but personally, I think Spectre is better than Skyfall, which is something I didn't expect to say when I went back to rewatch the film, actually, because I have seen the film a long while ago, all the way back in 2016 when it came out on DVD for the first time. And I remember liking it then, but not liking it quite as much as I wanted to. But actually, when I watched it last night, I really liked it. I really did, because in the end, it felt like a Bond film. And you know what? I preferred it over Skyfall, which is just something I didn't expect to say, but nevertheless, I did. And I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Spectre, I'm going to say it's an 8.3 out of 10. Honestly, I really like this film. And I know I might be in the minority there, but nevertheless, I'm happy that I really like it. I prefer liking Bond films over not liking Bond films. I know over time I've given so many bad Bond film reviews, you know, like Die Another Day, Moonraker, Quantum of Solace, and, you know, even GoldenEye, which is a film many people like. I've given so many bad Bond film reviews over the past year or so, but nevertheless, I love giving a good Bond film review. I love watching a Bond film and going, you know, actually, that wasn't so bad. I actually kind of enjoy watching it. In fact, you know what? I actually think it's a great Bond film, and that's what I felt with Spectre. I mean, I don't think it's a brilliant film, although I don't think it's a bad film. I actually think it's quite a good film, but even so, I don't think it's a brilliant film. I do think it's a brilliant Bond film, in my opinion. It's a brilliant Bond film because it feels like a Bond film. I really enjoyed Spectre. You know what? I'm happy I do. If you don't, fair enough. I do understand kind of why, because I do still have some big issues with the film overall, but I enjoyed it. I really like Spectre, and this may be sacrilegious to some people because I know people love Skyfall, but in the end, I prefer this movie over Skyfall. Sorry, but I do, and I really like Skyfall. I think Skyfall's great. I prefer Spectre though. I don't know why, but I really like Spectre, and I just thought it was a really good Bond film, and by no means a brilliant film, but you know what? It was a brilliant Bond film, and that's what I'm going to take from it. Honestly, Spectre is worthwhile in my opinion, and I can't wait to see a sequel with No Time to Die coming soon, but nevertheless, all in all, I think Spectre is great, and so for that reason, I'm going to say that it's an 8.3 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Spectre? Please do comment down below. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, that's it now. I've done all my Bond film reviews leading up to No Time to Die. But you know what? No Time to Die is coming out Thursday this week. So look forward to my review of No Time to Die coming very soon on this channel. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more both film and TV reviews coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye.